Hey everybody, welcome into Death Valley Daily. I'm Deputy Editor of AllClemson.com, Brad Senkiw. He's publisher, Zach Lentz. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Tuesday edition as we continue on talking some Clemson football today. We haven't really discussed, Zach, the news that came out late last week that Justin Foster is back at defensive end. For those of you who missed the story, Foster had to step away from football following the 2020 season in which he did not play at all because of COVID and asthma issues that looked like they were going to end his career. He stepped away from the game back in February, but he got some really good news recently, and that's allowed him to make his decision to come back not only to the game of football, but to Clemson. So this is really big for him. It's a great story, Zach. You have to be happy for the young man. He gets to play out his career. You like it when a guy gets to decide when the game is over for him, not having health issues decide that for him. But the question is now, what is the impact of Justin Foster's return to Clemson football?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to say how happy I am to see him back on the field. Like you said, you never want to see a career cut short by anything that the player didn't have to do. But I mean, you always hope that he's getting the best advice and stuff, and that he is going to be safe and that he is fully healthy to come back. But the impact on this Tiger team, I mean, it immediately brings depth and experience to the defensive line that I already had. I mean, you already had guys like Brian Brucey and Miles Murphy and Monte Capehart and KJ Henry and everybody else on the defensive line that had the experience, had the depth. But he brings that senior leadership. He brings that guy that's been through the struggles. He's been through everything. He's been through the battles. He's been through the wars. So I really think it brings an experienced voice, the leadership in that locker room. And look, if anything else, it could be a rallying cry for other players to say, hey, look, you see what he was doing through? You see how he fought to come back this season? Let's go here and win for the Gipper. I mean,
yeah, I don't know what his production is going to look like. I don't know how he fits in.
Yeah, taking a year off is always tough. I mean,
yeah, how he fits in the two deep and all that. I mean, Miles Murphy, KJ Henry, Xavier Thomas, those are supposed to be.
Yeah, Tyler Davis. I mean, those guys. I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's so many players that are going to garner so much playing time on this front. But what I think is important, Zach, is that we've seen throughout college football, you can never have enough players. You can never have enough reliability. Who's to say there aren't a ton of injuries or issues up front? And Clemson needs a guy like Justin Foster. How many times have you seen Dabo Swinney always say, we're going to stick with this guy, we're going to continue to develop him, we need him, and all of a sudden that guy ends up in playing a big role at some point in the season. We saw with Clemson's secondary last year. Some of those guys were not ready. When there were injuries, when Nolan Turner and Landon Zanders got hurt, some of those guys were not able to play at that same level, and it hurt the defense. So this year, if something does happen to any of those names I just mentioned, like Murphy and Henry and Thomas, you've got a guy who has produced a ton of sacks in his career, a guy who I thought was having a breakout season back at the end of 2019. I thought 2020 was going to be a big year for Justin Foster. The playing time, the opportunity, everything was there for him, and he just couldn't get on the field because of the pandemic or because of COVID and asthma. But here he is coming back, Zach. I don't know what his fitness level is going to be, how many snaps he can play per game. But regardless, to have that guy back there, just knowing that you might be able to have him if you need him, I think it gives Brent Venables and Dabo Swinney a ton of comfort in their defense.
Absolutely. Like I said, my biggest concern for him is that make sure that he's getting the right health advice. Make sure he is fully healthy, because the last thing you want to see is someone come back and have a setback or something like that. It costs him long term. But it's great news for Justin Foster, great news for the Tigers this week. On a weekend that saw us have to deal with Justin Ross and everything that's going on, it was great to have some good news in the last week. It's just
yeah, this is good for Clemson football. This is good for Justin.
It's good for the sport of football. I mean,
it is. It's good for all of college football. It's a great story. This young man's able to decide that it's gonna wrap up his career. Make sure you go check out our friends over at FNX Fitness. Check out what they got to offer right now. Make sure you use the promo code you see below. Go to fnx.grsm.io/allclemson. Use that code, allclemson 2021. You get 50% off your purchase of all the great products there at FNX. Make sure you go and check them out. Zach, you might want to.
Yeah, for the first 10 people that buy stuff off of the site, Brad said he'll do the next show shirtless. So.
That is not true. I am not doing the next show shirtless. I'm sorry. That's not going to happen. America's not ready for that, Zach. We got to build up to that. Let's make sure our partners over there are getting tons and tons of promo codes put into their system. So let's
should we
Fitness up on the show first before we allow people to check out what all FNX can do for you.
Shouldn't we say that if people go there and purchase stuff, we won't have you do the show shirtless?
I have no idea what you're saying, but I'm not doing the show shirtless. Let's just leave it at that. Make sure you like our YouTube channel, subscribe, and share with everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of Zach Lentz, I'm Brad Senkiw. Death Valley Day will be back again on Wednesday. Take care.
Absolutely. Have a great day.